Okay, this is Tallyho here bringing you my opinion of Axia College, Phoenix University. I went to online Axia for an associate's in IT, and let me just sum up right now by saying that they are terrible. First, I'll explain the fallacy of school in general. Let's say someone came to you and said, give me $20,000 and I'll give you a document that says you got some tests correct. Would you do it? In general, the education process theory is way outdated. In this era, companies demand people with years of experience in a single sector just to be hired. Wasting 2 years learning general education like literature and economics is unacceptable. But this is what college does, and this is what Phoenix does. I was pressured by my father to go to college. I knew beforehand that I would hate it and that it was a waste of time, but he wouldn't leave me alone about it. He said, get a job or go to college. I didn't have any experience in anything, and the economy around where I live sucks, so I went to college. When I first researched Phoenix, the enrollment officer told me that there would be job placement available while I was going to school. I specifically kept bringing this subject up, but he assured me that there would be assistance. Well, a month later, I look into it, and it's for master's graduates only, and you have to pay for it. Okay? Also, he said I would be learning programming, which is what I specifically wanted to get from them. He again assured me, but 3 months later, 0 programming courses. I got really pissed that I was doing these bullshit courses. I call him and he says that most of the program courses are for bachelors, and I need to take general education first. Well, it's about 2 years later, and I've only taken 3 programming courses. It's my fault for trusting the counselor and whatnot by not really looking at the fine print. But you know, like, you're supposed to trust the counselors, and I'm a busy person. I'm going to school full time. A lot of the classes sounded like they were programming classes or had to do with programming, but it ended up being bullshit. I talked to an ITT counselor before going to Phoenix, and he was a fucking pushy guy. I mean, I swear he was near threatening me to join, trying to scare me about other schools. I could tell by his voice inflection that he was being aggressive and pushy. I eventually told him to watch his fucking tone. My point is, these enrollment people work for their college, and college wants your money and will say and do whatever it takes to sign you in. Next point, the price. There is a scam sweeping this generation of people, and it is a loan scam. It's not a scam in traditional sense, but one which is deceptive and totally legal. In the same way that infomercials use certain phrases to trigger parts of their brains to want you to buy something, loans seem like the free and easy way of doing things. It's like, hey, I can just get this money out of thin air and pay for it way in the future. Yeah, all dark and out of sight and out of mind. But it's there just as surely as it is there today, and you are obligated to pay it. Now, everyone can get a loan to go to college nowadays. I mean, fucking people that are 50 years old are getting fucking college loans. And while you're struggling and smiling in front of computers, thinking that your big payday job is around the corner, those fat cat college richies are enjoying themselves and laughing their way to the bank. And more than ever, people are desperate for jobs. You see in the commercials, go to college and get a job. I mean, they don't always explicitly say it, but they are implicitly saying that if you go to college, you'll get a job. I mean, you can just look it right there. They won't say that you'll get a job, but they'll show images of people getting this job and blah fucking blah, and cutting the ribbons of, like, you know, oh, I'm a senator now, or I'm a mayor now that I went to Phoenix, you know, that kind of bullshit. They're taking advantage by saying these things that will trigger your hopes and dreams in your mind of not being broken, jobless like you are, or whatever. It's perfectly legal and it's perfectly evil. Next point, the materials. Phoenix made me pay $85 per class that had a materials fee for quote-unquote materials, as they call it. But the materials are just text documents on what to study. I can download free text documents online, I mean, on everywhere, you know, like I can go anywhere and find better stuff than they can. And the online files, they look like a tangle of chords. I mean, a lot of them were like hundreds of pages long and involved a lot of technical jargon and whatnot, and you'll want to kill yourself because you'll be searching back and forth trying to find or refine things you forgot. And you will forget this thing because there's a lot of stuff in 2 years of college or 4 years of college. In those 3 program classes I took, there was no fucking way I was going to learn what I needed there. So where did I go? YouTube. That's right. I learned everything I needed in a very easy to understand and friendly way from Bucky on the New Boston channel. For free, people. Everything about programming from this guy. It's great. Look it up. And I Googled most everything else I needed for my other classes without even looking at those poorly written text files. I mean, hardly a time I wouldn't even fucking go to those things or click on them because I knew they'd be fucking a waste of time. Every time I had to take some bullshit paper about culture or geography, I kept thinking about all the time that could be spent actually writing programs or working at a tech place. I think I would have been better off as a janitor working at a tech place and asking people occasionally about what they do. And that brings me to my next point. Employers don't give a fuck about diplomas. Before I get some hate mail, let me just say that what employers really care about is knowledge and, most importantly, experience. They believe that someone who goes to college or has gone to college has some knowledge and experience, but they don't care if you have that piece of paper. They just need to know that you know what the fuck it is that you're doing. You don't need to go to college to get that. Every real-life programmer I talked to told me the same goddamn thing, and I called them up at their work that talk about these things, okay? Employers don't care that you know about the Civil War or your interpretation of Oedipus Rex. It's just a waste of time and money. Next point. Actually, this is going back to my loans again. Loans are like credit cards. They make you feel safe, but you still have to pay them back with interest. Yeah, that's right. And our whole economy is suffering because of too much borrowing and spending. And schools like Phoenix are just there to collect. Just like Enron, Big Oil, Walmart, everybody, you name it, okay? Wake up, people. Having a college education is not going to solve your unemployment problems. The only way that we're going to solve these terrible unemployment problems that we have is by taking back the very institutions which send your jobs overseas, and that is our very own government, and which pay all the fat cats, which get we need to just take out those fat cats and take American jobs back. Okay? I mean, it used to be back in the day. I talked to my dad's friend, and he lived in Ohio. It used to be that there was like Pontiacs and Chevys are made in Ohio. They ain't made in Ohio no more. Those industries and those metalworking industries are gone overseas or wherever. I myself have not had a legitimate job in 3 years. Everyone I go to wants experience and a lot of it. Like sometimes like 5 years or more. Off the bat, and I mean for stupid shit like laying plywood on walls and shit, like, and doing caulking around seams. I mean, Jesus. Now I know some people are going to comment and say that they got a job from going to Phoenix or whatever, and that's fine. But you didn't need to go, and you didn't have to spend $50,000 to get there. It reminds me of those scam emails you get that say, send $300 and we'll send you material on how to get a job. Okay, next point. Here's a misconception that some people have. In college, you have to pass every class. You can't just skip a class like in high school. Every class you fail, you have to retake. And you have to pay for that class again. I even heard of this one person online when I was researching Phoenix, about all the bad shit about Phoenix. After all the bad shit happened to me, chance. Okay, I heard this one person said that they had to take a class 20 times. Okay, and if you're prone to eye strain, unlike college, it's going to be like Chinese water torture to you. Seriously, people, I was tortured a lot of times because I had to sit and do 6 hours of work, but it's because it had to be on time. And don't say that I was just skipping to the last minute, because a lot of this shit does take a lot of time, people. It's a full-time school, and when they say full-time, they mean full-time, okay? And my eyes hurt like hell. I mean, it messed up my vision, and it will mess up your vision, straining your eyes, and it takes a while for your eyes to get back to normal. That's if they come back to normal, okay? You like glasses? Okay, customer service, next point. Axia customer service is about useless. They will call you if you're not doing well or something, but it's not going to help you. There's no breaks you can take, and there's no retaking assignments. Oh, they offer you help, but it's the same bullshit they always point you to. The Student Help Center. Oh, yeah, that's why I have Google and YouTube for. Okay. Alright, and getting a hold of your counselors is another problem, too. 75% of the time, you won't reach them the first day. Expect 2 to 3 days to contact them by phone. Alright, next point, discussion questions. In Axia, you'll have to write about 4 entries a week for 2 discussion questions, probably about in 2 classes to 4 classes every other week. Okay, and this is okay if the subject matter is any good, but most of the time the school asks you to in the discussion questions, they're just cut and dry questions, meaning you exhaust any elaboration you can come up with very soon. On so many occasions, I couldn't write anything simply because there was nothing I could think of that would add to the conversation. Example, Axia asks you a math problem. You solve it, answer whatever other questions about it, and that's it. How else are you going to elaborate on 5 plus 5 equals 10? It's just that and nothing else. What do you want me to do? Delve in the philosophy of numbers or Pythagorean theorem? No, they just want you to talk about 5 plus 5 equals 10. They're asking you to do something which is near impossible, okay? In conclusion, let me ask you this. Does your father charge you for his great wisdom? Or your friend for his great friendly advice? No, but the institutions of capitalism demand your money to get knowledge, okay? They want money so you can get money. And this is the whole point. And this is not friendly, and this is not right. Stay away from Phoenix and Axia College and any other for-profit schools. Okay, it all boils down to money, people. If you really need a job, I ask you, implore you, to seek out your true vocation. Ask God in prayer what that is, and maybe it will come to you in your thoughts. You can get a job without college or formal education. YouTube, Google, all your best friends for this. Turn your living room into a mock set of what you're aspiring to become, whether it be actor with cameras, makeup, and script on the table, or accountant with desk, pens, paper, and copy machine in the corner. But seek to be in your everyday life. And for God's sakes, never forget the spirit of fighting. Government has nearly castrated all male and all females' God-given right to go to arms and fight with fists and guns for freedom. And it's in the Constitution. But apparently the Constitution doesn't mean shit anymore, and everybody forgot about that. And now big business, with all the money, holds the reins to the entire world. Money and jobs are not that which has laid the freedoms and the goals of our progressive world, but the bruteness of fighters. Because in the end, it's just humans versus humans. And money doesn't mean anything when it's human versus human. It's just paper. It's just gold. Okay? But it's what you think about that gives it power. It may sound as if I'm going on a left or right wing splurge, but fuck right wing and fuck left wing, okay? Was it not Soren Kierkegaard who said, if you label me, you negate me? It's not a war and organized fuck you to another people, and yet we're going overseas and saying fuck you to 3 or 4 countries at a time. How many years have we ever been out of war with someone? And I've found a way of making money as my own boss. It's not much, but it's growing, and I'm getting better at it. If employers won't hire you, then fuck them. Beat your own path, okay? Because what do you want to? You want to go to? You want to work at Publix and say please and thank you about 1,000 times a day, and then go home and drink beer, and that's your fucking life? All right. When was a time when you were young that you had the spirit and the imagination to be who you wanted to be? Where is that? Because in the end, what good is money if you're not happy? You know. And that is the whole point of this devil's system, is to drive the human spirit out of us, and we need to stand up and fight once again. Is it not? And then the answers are right in front of us. It says on every single dollar bill and every single coin that we ever own, it says, "United we stand, divided we fall." And we are divided, people. We live in these tiny little houses that are separate from everybody else, and we have to go to work, and we have no say over the political advice because we're too busy fucking trying to make ends meet, or trying to work, or doing this and that. We're not together in groups in the discussion halls making debate and seeing that what the wrong in this world and righting it. Okay? Look at what's happening in Egypt. Finally, they unite over Facebook, all right, with the help of Google, and they took back an entire nation, all right, and they're still working on it. And you know what? They won't be able to win it back from those greedy and corrupt politicians unless they go to war. They tried doing it by friendly means, by just gathering. But I tell you this, it will not end until the people, all right, not a government of the people, by the people, and not of their representatives, not by the military, but by them. Every single human being needs to stand up and have courage. All right, please prove me wrong by saying that college will give you a job. All right, prove me wrong that you can just go out and get a job when probably a quarter of this whole country is out of work. When everything you turn over says made in China. All right, I just looked on the news yesterday. It says Hershey is trying to get slave labor. Walmart going overseas to slave labor, but